Hey, good morning. I, uh, Thank you for the comments last night. I have deleted that video. Apologize for that if anybody who watched the video posted it and didn't realize I had my mute on my monitor. I'd been messing around with trying to create the opening visuals earlier in the week and turn the mute mic off to try to not have me breathing at the same time. Um, and unfortunately I forgot to turn it back on, so I did an entire video. That's what happens whenever you're doing stuff late at night and you're not proofreading your stuff. I don't proofread anything. Uh, so before I just woke up, I got my coffee, and I thought, I don't know if you can hear that. That's a train. I live over a hill, over a road, over some trees, near a huge train station. And now that the sun's come out and the windows are open, uh, every once in a while you'll hear some clanking. Uh, so hopefully that doesn't help my sound. I'll have to start working on that. Um, I thought I'd do a real quick video this morning before I got up and got some stuff done. I've got some goals that I want to do, but what I want to start doing is doing some helpful hints of things that maybe are a little bit off the beaten path. There's a lot of videos out there, and so I'm going to jump in to do the hint first, and then I'll explain why. This hint is something that really saves me a lot of times when I really screw things up. And it gets me a little bit more into trying to use shortcuts. Real of the videos that I've watched, the really good players in Eve, or almost any game, but really Eve, especially for PvP, which I'm not a player of yet, use shortcuts. I use a few shortcuts. You've probably seen me using V for my directional scanning, and I think it's Shift R for returning my drones to my ship rather than calling them in from a drop down. There's so many other shortcuts. But what I wanted to show you today, if you haven't set up any shortcuts, I like to do something when I'm showing some people things. And my favorite shortcut that I don't use very often at all, but it is a shortcut that you have to create. It's not one that's in the game. And that is reconnecting to your drones. An example of this is, let's say you're out doing a combat site and you finish the combat site, you loot whatever you want to get, and you warp off. And then suddenly you realize that you've left your drones there, and you forgot to call them in. So you have to warp back. Um, if and let's say you luckily have saved that spot, and then you have to, once you get to that area, you have to go and fly to those drones and then scoop them into your drone bay, or even your cargo hold. But it can be a little bit time consuming and annoying because maybe you don't have your overview set up to get the drones, all sorts of stuff. So what I would like to show you is how to set up reconnecting drones, but this more importantly shows you how to get into your shortcuts and maybe save you a lot of time and gameplay time, as you can maybe make it your own gameplay. So I'm out here in my little nullsec area in Puck JZ, one of my homes away from home, and got my little beautiful Gnosis out here just ratting away. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to let out a little acolyte here. Come on out, buddy. There he is. Alrighty. So he's flying around on his own. He's hanging out with me. He's orbiting me. Now, oh no, somebody just showed up. I need to get away. I'm going to go ahead and warp away. Location. I'm going to warp away to another safe spot. Down here it says, hey, you're warping away and you left your drones out. Maybe I don't click on that fast enough, or maybe somebody's trying to shoot at me, and I'm like, I don't care, I'm out. So I've left that drone out there. Okay. So I'm to my new safe spot here. Now, to get that drone back, I'm going to warp back to the original safe spot. Safe one. I'm going to warp 20 kilometers away. Just to show you, because sometimes if you're going through gates, things like that, you won't warp directly on to where you were at. So now, so you will have to travel to get to the drones to scoop them up. Okay, so there's my drone right there. Hey, Mr. Acolyte. And it looked like he was close, but when you turn here, he is 20 kilometers away. Also, just as a reminder, you can do the different views. The major combat one that I like to use is this one here, your tactical overlay, because obviously it gives you a general distance from where you're wanting to shoot from. It also, if you overlay your guns, it will show you their optimal and fall off ranges. But here is, oh, that's not there, I just like to throw that in there. So here is your Acolyte one, here he is. So in general, normally I would have to fly over and pick him up. But there is the option of reconnecting to it. And it will try to send out a message and have your drones that are lying around reconnect and come back and orbit you. And to do that, go hit your ESC key. And normally an ESC key will come up to your main page. You've got all these tabs up here. I know my settings are not the best. I don't mess around with it a whole lot. I'm not a huge power gaming. I'm not making money off gaming. I just have fun with it. But up here at the top is shortcuts. And all of these different shortcuts, and this is where I really want to show you, is there's so many options up here that you can do. A perfect example of a shortcut is your modules. So if you hit F1, just hover over it right here. See here where it says at the very top right hand corner, F1. You can hit your F1 to fire off your first module, F2, F3, down here. Alt F1, Alt F2. So those are your shortcuts. But a really great one here, let me just double check. The only thing I'm a little bit afraid of is my local. Nobody's here. I can die. And if I have my ESC up, I can't see my local. So, and then down here is your drones tab right here. And if you notice here, some of these already have them. You've got F for engage. This is the one I was talking about earlier, the return to drone base. So I've almost gotten it down now where I don't even think about it. I couldn't have actually, I was lucky to say Shift R earlier, because every time I warp off from an area, I'm hitting Shift R to the point where I do it without even having drones out. It's so stupid. I'll be flying one of my frigates and I'll be like, oh, I'm warping, Shift R, Shift R. Oh, I don't have any drones. But incredibly useful. You don't have to do the drop down. You don't have to point and click. You've also got Shift R. But if you notice here, there's a couple here that are not, these two here are not set up. And this is a shortcut. I'm going to go ahead and clear that shortcut. If I am not mistaken, it's been a while since I set up my character, but this is normally not set up. It comes in as none, so there is no preset Reconnect lost drones. So what I like to do is, when it's something, a shortcut that I don't use all of the time, but it's something that's incredibly useful, I'll put it in a spot that is accessible but not in the way. So you right click on your shortcut here, go ahead and edit the shortcut, and in the top left hand corner hit Shift. I think it's the tilde, is that what it's called? Top left of your keyboard, and hit that. It will map it, and now every time I hit Shift tilde, I think that's what it's called, Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a while. I had a typing class back 35 years ago. Uh, um, every time I hit that, it will try to reconnect to the drones. So I'll just show you here what happens. Still nobody in the system. Notice that's the first thing I checked. So I still got my little accolade out here. He's 34 kilometers away. Why is he 34? Oh, he's just moving on. You sucker. He's just... I want to look at him here. He's just traveling away. He's like, I'm going on my way. Dee-dee-dee. Sorry. Yeah, cute little sucker. Okay. So I'm 34 kilometers away from him. Now the first thing with reconnecting to your drones is you have to have at least an open spot in space. So if you can have 5 drones out, you can only have you have to have enough slots for the number of drones that you're trying to call in. So if I have 5 drones out, I can call in 5 drones. If I have 1 drone out, I need at least 1 slot to call it in. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit my, and you can't see it here, I'm going to hit my shift tilde. Go. Attempting to reconnect to nearby drones. If you notice over here, the acolyte goes, and notice almost automatically my drone comes back over to me, and now he's searching around me, he's orbiting me, and I go ahead and hit Shift R, and he'll go ahead and dock with me, and then I can get out of Dodge. Location, save 1, save 3, warp on away. So if that's helpful to you, what I'd like to do is every once in a while, if not more often than not, throw in a quick tip. I took a little bit more time this time because I like to explain what I'm trying to do. But before every video, if I'm not going to blow things up, I want to at least do something that's helpful to everybody. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get to blowing things up today because I got a lot. Well, I'm going to blow stuff up later on, but I got a lot of stuff I want to get done. A lot in game that I want to get done over the next 3 days. Wrote them all down. I don't see that. I don't know if you can see that. Tip of the day: reconnecting to drones, and then some other stuff. So I got some goals. I've got a big weekend this weekend. I got a lot of stuff to do around the house. I'm going to make a big fire and burn a bunch of wood. I got to finish building the outside stairway. You don't need to know this, but I got to mow. I got to do my laundry. Got to clean up the house. But with Eve, this is where when I have different, I don't sit down and play Eve for hours and hours mostly. I usually sit down for about half an hour to an hour, about 3 or 4 times a day on my weekends. I love playing the game. I usually get in about 3 or 4 hours worth each day. Is the one thing that I like to do. But I like to, when I hit the weekend, have a couple goals. Whether or not I'm able to get to all of them is questionable. But I think I'll be able to get to these this weekend because I'm really jacked. Number 1 this weekend, I want to finish creating my hurricane. My first hurricane, I've got about a little bit under 1 million tritanium left that I need to get to finish off building the hull. And then I want to start flying that because I don't want to keep flying this Gnosis out here. And I love my Rupture. I'm going to keep flying it, but I want to fly something new that I'm not worried about getting blown up. I'm a little bit worried about blowing up and getting this Gnosis blown up. They say don't fly anything you don't want to lose. Well, I wanted to fly some. I wanted to fly it, so I'm having fun. If I lose it, I'll be a little depressed, but I don't care. My second goal this weekend is to get at least 2 planets for my planetary interaction moved out to nullsec. And I'll do a video on those. I won't go through it all, but I'll just give you an update on those to show you the difference if I can. I have an extra slot right here that I can do it, so I'm not going to shut down this production just yet. But I do have an extra slot here. I also have my skills. I have another interplanetary interaction. Is that what it is? We're almost ready to roll. Interplanetary consolidation, which will give me another planet that I can do. Kind of my goal is every weekend. I have my 2 accounts right now. And each one I want to move one planet out, and then next week on another planet, and then next week on another planet. So I'm slowly taking my time to really make them the best that they can be. I've learned a lot in what I want to do. I've got a decent little plan I want to do. I'm not going to braid you with that right now. But I'm going to go ahead and set those up. And then I'm going to create the corp. I know I have my current corp BattleBots here. This is my play around corp. I have come up with the name of the corp and how I want it set up. I'm going to set that up. It is going to be my playing, interacting corporation with the EVE community. It could stay with one person. I'm not going to hugely actively recruit with it. If people want to join, they can. I'm not worried about that so much. I have a structure that I want to do with it because it involves the last but not least of it. I had a couple people, awesome, who commented, and I'm going to be getting in touch with them over the weekend to say, hey, they said, hey, get in contact with me and Eve. And I'm like, I will. I'm just tired. And what I want to do is create a chat channel in Eve, which I'm going to post in my next video. And I'm going to unveil the name of the corp that I'm making. It's a weird name. But I want the channel to be focused on not, you see these things that are new player centric. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be new player helpful if new players come into it. But what I want it to be is focused on active players who can talk on it and help each other and converse and joke and do whatever. It basically be open to anyone, any corporation, any group who are focused on playing the game in a way that's active, not power gaming. I don't mind if they're there, but I want the communications to be similar to myself and some of the other guys who've gotten in contact with me to help each other. I've gotten a lot of questions like, wow, you're living out in nullsec and you haven't died? And yeah, I haven't even used a cloak out here and I'm living out here. And if you look up my Z kill board, I mean, I'm going to die. But I'm doing it in a way, as I learn the game, it's more living out here and actively playing, not worrying about the money that I'm making. So that's what I want to do with that channel. More about that whenever I actually bring it up. So those are my goals for the weekend. I did see, do I still have it here? A really good video. Let me just YouTube. One of the best EVE YouTubers. I'm sure you have to have seen his videos if you've watched any YouTube videos out there. He did one about 2 months ago. I've gotten away from watching him. I watched that. Oh, that was funny. Okay. There it is. Delion Wolf makes some really good in-person videos. There we go. And some of the, just like mine, in talking in stations, some of them I watch and 2 minutes into it, you're like, okay, this one isn't for me. I love top 10 lists. I love watching What Culture. I love watching Mojo. And he did a top 10 list of mistakes by new players. And this was about 2 months ago. I just watched it last night. He brings up some really good points. And I really liked it. I especially liked his number 10, the first one he talked about. Some of the other ones I was a little bit iffy on. I'm not saying I disagreed with them, but um, most of them I 100% agreed with. They were a little bit off the side. This was not a, he even says it, this is not a clickbait video. There are things in it that new players wouldn't think about. Um, but his first one I really kind of liked. It gave me thinking. I think I talked about it in the past. It's about winning, about what you want to do in the game. He also talks about trying to plex your accounts at the very beginning and focusing on that. So if you want to, this is a really good video. It's shorter than the ones that I normally do. I think it's only like 17 minutes long. But I would suggest watching that if you want to, if you have something to watch over the weekend. I'm going to do a couple of videos, I think, this weekend. Let's see if there's anything out here to blow up. If not in this system, I'm just going to go ahead and log off and try to get started with the day. I got to get some breakfast, but we'll see if there's anything I can blow up here. Maybe I should create a character name. I wonder if there's a Ron Swanson character. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're searching for that one. Okay, I got nothing in system. Okay, that's going to be my last but not least. I want to get some breakfast. Oh, wait, we got somebody rolling in. Let's go kill him. Yay. Alrighty, get my... What's going on? See, this is where I could use shortcuts, but I don't, and I'm dumb. I really believe if you want to ever really take PvP seriously, drones, don't go after the big boys. I'm going to go after the big boys. You go after... Let's hit my micro warp drive just once. You go after the frigates. You can fight the big boys whenever I'm done. Whenever you're done killing them. Here we go. Again, this is my junk gnosis, just stuff I've thrown onto it to get it up and rolling, so I can get out here and blow stuff up. It definitely could be fitted out a lot better, but... So I'm able to take out, let's just show you here. I can kill a Angel War General for 800k. And an Angel Commander for 500k. More importantly, I'm trying to take out... Oh, I don't know why I called in my drone. It's the only problem with hotkeys. More importantly, the battleships are the ones that drop the large items that I'm trying to melt down to get my titanium. Yes, I very easily could make a mining ship and go mine that titanium. Titanium, if I remember correctly, is only available in high sec, so living out here, I would have to then haul it out here, which wouldn't be that bad, but I'm not a miner. I'm trying to show ways that you can, it's kind of like living out in the middle of Alaska. You deal with what you got. I'm going to use all the parts of the animal that I kill. So I'm using the bones of the animal, grinding them down to make the armor or the hulls of the ships that I'm building. Alrighty. Oh, he's leaving. He's running. That's something I might try. Okay, so unfortunately, that commander is warping off. So that's 500 down the drain. I'm wondering if you can do a warp core stabilizer, well, not a warp core, warp scrambler on the NPC characters that warp away from you. I'm sure you probably can. Not sure all of the... Okay, let's go ahead and launch my drone. And we're going to hit salvage. from what I understand, some of the E-War stuff does not work against them. Um, so basically what I like to do is I have one extra salvage drone that I just kind of throw in. I could throw in a couple more. When I'm going around and looting the bodies, I set out the salvage drone. Um, see, this is what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Um, I've got a heavy Carolyn um, warp scrambler, just to show you the info on here. Industry, I'm going to get now about half of what this is. Titanium, I'm going to get about 5,000 units of titanium from it when I melt it down. Oop, come back here. I can melt that down, I can melt that down, I can melt that down. Let's just show you here. I can get about 8,000 there. So really, as soon as you kill a battleship, you're really getting a lot of stuff. And their mega sites, all that stuff. I can even melt down the bullets. Industry, I'm going to get a whole 260, but it all helps. All helps. So let's go ahead and grab that. I'll loot that. And now I can actually use my micro warp drive to get to the next ones. I really like using the micro warp drive when I'm ratting. Yes, it does bloom up my signature radius, but when I'm doing with a battle cruiser and a cruiser, it allows me to get to the guys I'm trying to kill a lot faster. Okay, so the salvage drone has just gotten me a little bitty smash trigger unit. So just by having that little drone in here while I'm picking stuff up, there we go. Just to give you an example, this is your field generator worth 4 million ISK. I could go and sell that someplace, but what I use them for out here, right there, 66,000 units. So melting this down is going to give me about 33,000 units of titanium. So big jump right there, plus all those other items. We're going to go ahead and drop that in here. Oh, I went too far away from it. And that's why that came from one of the frigates that I killed. So I don't just kill the big boys, I kill the frigates because they could drop those, which are really, really useful. You can build almost an entire frigate off of one of those. And then we're going to loot the body. We're going to loot the body. And sometimes I've run across where you get two of them out of the ones that you kill. It's rare. It's a little bit rare that you get them out here. Just got a little bit of metal scraps on that one. I could use a mobile tractor unit, but I don't like to do that because it costs about 10 million ISK, and I like to be as mobile as possible. I like, if somebody comes into the system, I like to warp away right away. I don't want to leave that tractor unit out. If I'm doing a site, I don't really like using it then because it makes a spot that is warp-inable, combat scannable down for other characters. So in this area where I'm a little bit unsafe, I don't like to use it there. But I should have hit my warp drive there. I have thought about maybe putting a tractor unit onto the ship, a actual tractor gun, tractor beam, to speed this process up a little bit. But I'm not too worried about it because like I showed you earlier, while I am picking up this wreckage, I am sending out the salvage drone to salvage all this stuff. Now I didn't get a whole lot off of this sucker. I only got 2 smashed trigger units, but sometimes I get a decent amount. All of the salvage that I get is it's free money. Alrighty, so we got that there. Alrighty, and you notice when I was saying earlier that I call on my drones even if I don't have any out. I am so used to getting ready to warp. I literally just hit Shift R call my drones in, even though I didn't have any out. You just get so used to doing it. I would switch that to maybe a faster hotkey, but I'm so used to doing it that it's just as fast right now. So I hope the reconnecting drones helps you. Um, I would really suggest messing around with the other shortcuts. I haven't messed around with them nearly enough. I think there's a lot of things that can be helpful, and it can adjust your keyboard and your gameplay and make your. I think the shortcuts can really help a person's style of gameplay. So, more videos to come over the next couple days. I'm going to get a bunch of stuff done. I'm going to go get some food. You guys have a great day. Fly safe, fly dangerously. Apologize for not having the mute on for my last video. And hopefully, it's good this time. I'm going to check it before I put it up. Alrighty, have a great one. Fly safe. Is my... This is so unprofessional.